All right. Hello, everyone, and now welcome to a game. This game, RazerMoon versus Jperezimba, taking place here on Shallow Grave 1.5. Thanks for tuning in. For all of you guys on the live stream, yes, the U.S. did go through daylight saving time, hence the, I guess, hour later for all of you guys out there who are watching outside of the US. Good morning, good evening, good night, however you may be watching, however you may be listening. Well, I'm glad that you are here. Well, probably once every 2 week reminder for all of you guys out there. If you guys do have a Amazon Prime subscription, please remember to use your Twitch Prime subscription to support a channel and sub a channel that you enjoy. Doesn't have to be my channel. I appreciate all of you guys out there who do, in fact, subscribe to my channel. Somehow, I still have a decent number of subscribers, even though I never see those subscription notifications. So, must be some of you guys out there who subscribed to me during off hours. Anyways, Jperezimba opening things up with a Blood Mage first. Not your typical hero choice at all. And this is going to be going up against a Dreadlord first. Not your typical hero choice either. So we're getting unorthodox heroes from these two players. Blood Mage, very strong harassment based hero, able to deny enemy mana while doing some plays of his own, perhaps getting in some flame strike damage, things of that nature, and well, causing some problems and disruption. Now, one thing to note here, Shallow Grave is a map that actually has a lot of narrow walkways and passageways. It is harder to flank on your opponent, but at the same time, if you do end up flanking your opponent, it is much more rewarding since they don't have easy ways of getting in and out of those situations. Coming back across here, we're looking at the Blood Mage wandering across here, gonna be going for a flame strike on this Forest Troll Warlord creep camp, and there it goes across all of those units. Flame Strike, the Forest Troll Shadow Priest going to be purposely trying to back away here, trying to get in some damage as we now see some militia going after the Forest Troll High Priest in the back. It does have medium armor, going to go ahead and get taken down pretty quickly. This last Forest Troll High Priest about to get taken out as the Acolyte is across here, perhaps trying to steal a bit of these creeps as well. Blood Mage wanting to make sure that he gets the last hit. He should get the oh no! Acolyte of RazerMoon gets the last hit. So very difficult for that Acolyte to get the last hit. He just went for it and got it. Yes, the Blood Mage ends up picking up the greater potion of greater mana, but this Acolyte dealing 9 to 10 damage, able to get that last hit, and well, really set this Blood Mage back just a little bit. All right, we're going to be looking at these sea turtles getting cleaned up here. There goes one, there goes two. Level 2 now on the Blood Mage as we are looking at the giant sea turtle about to get finished off. Oh, there's a little Murloc Tide Runner right there. And this will finally get taken down. It would be funny if Undead researched a backpack. If Undead had somehow researched a backpack at the same time and the Acolyte was able to steal that item, that would have been absolutely a crazy, crazy clutch play. Meanwhile, Dreadlord, Sacrificial Skull, Rod of Necromancy, able to finish off this Forest Troll High Priest. The Forest Troll High Priest was, well, sleeping on the job, as we now see level 2 Carrion Swarm picked up by that Dreadlord. Blood Mage is still wandering around here. There's a Siphon mana from that Forest Troll High Priest. That Blood Mage going to get a little bit more mana, but not going to be able to do all that much as we see a Forest Troll Berserker coming across for Jperezimba as well. Blood Mage could easily funnel mana into that Forest Troll Shadow Priest if necessary. Blood Mage, is he going to go for level 2 Siphon mana or level 2 Flame Strike? That is the question, as we're looking at a Footman trying to break free, and does break free from a crazy massive number of units surround. All right, Forest Troll Shadow Priest ends up taking a big round of attack there. There's a Flame Strike. A Ghoul trying to dodge through it, able to walk through the fire and flames, minimizing the damage. There's the Siphon mana. Forest Troll Shadow Priest is going to get taken down as the mana link is broken. Forest Troll Well, there's a little bit of blight being placed down as well. Is that ghoul going to get taken down? As the ghoul trying to go after some of these units, going to go after that. This ghoul now, one more shot should finish it off. Is it going to be able to get away? Yes, he will. Meanwhile, ghouls are still fighting. There goes a massive carry-on swarm right there. There goes another ghoul. 2 low hit point footmen going to try and back away. There goes another footman as well. No more mana, but perhaps being able to run up and just claw him in the back is possible. The ghoul footman, well, those other units unable to head back across here as a couple militia were taken down as well. Dreadlord doesn't want to try and test the waters, go inside this base, go after this Forest Troll Berserker, as the tech to tier 2 has not been started by RazerMoon. Expo is nearly up and operational, so RazerMoon is going to be running up on 2 bases here in just a moment. Meanwhile, Jperezimba is looking to set up his own expansion as well. We don't see a lumber mill, so going to be dual arcane towers as both sides, well, looking to set up their expansion, get that economic advantage. And, well, this one footman pretty much diving on behind there ends up taking an absolute beating. What is the follow-up play? Blood Mage does have a Staff of Teleportation and has a lot of harassment in mind. You can see once that Necropolis starts that tech to tier 2, there isn't another Necropolis anywhere, so these Acolytes have to be very careful. Are we going to see one Acolyte get taken down? No, I believe all of the Acolytes were able to survive. There's some more Siphon mana. Dreadlord unable to get any more mana here. Are we going to see another Flame Strike go down? Yes, we are. And now, what is this Blood Mage doing? Blood Mage is trying to hide himself into a corner, siphon mana, and perhaps get a Flame Strike right here as well. There's another Flame Strike trying to take down the Ziggurats. All right, so the Ziggurats are suffering quite a bit of damage, down to 200 hit points. Acolytes are now trying to repair. The Blood Mage has 139 hit points. There's a Flame Strike and a mass teleportation. Now the ghouls and the Dreadlord, however, able to finish off that Blood Mage who backed himself into a corner. Staff of Teleportation and not fast enough as the Dreadlord gets up to level 4. Things are looking very good for RazerMoon at this point. He's able to shut down that Blood Mage and now forcing a resurrection the old-fashioned way. There is no Arcane Vault yet, and even if there is an Arcane Vault, there wouldn't be any way to use those items to heal any of these units. Speed building the Lumber Mill now in order to perhaps build some additional guard towers, and also speed building a blacksmith. Meanwhile, the Dreadlord of RazerMoon using this opportunity, this, well, additional time that he was able to buy to just clear out creep camps and perhaps get that much closer to level 5. We are looking at, well, 4 out of 5 Acolytes here, so 1 Acolyte was taken down, but in the same way, well, RazerMoon's not too concerned since he does have this expansion here at the 3 o'clock spot. All right. So gonna have plenty of gold. Even though he isn't at full saturation, where is the Dreadlord? I wish I could just click there, but that's just an overlay. Where did the Dreadlord go? All right, still hiding on underneath that little shop camp, difficult to spot. Dreadlord is sitting at level 4, does have level 2 Carrion Swarm, also bringing in Vampiric Aura, but there's enough Arcane Towers here to really cause some problems. The Dreadlord not going to be able to get off that many hits. Skeletal Minion nearly getting taken down there. Blood Mage is now back out. We're going to be looking at a Scroll of Regeneration and no Clarity Potion, and there goes a Carrion Swarm finding the Forest Troll Berserker, who perhaps thought that he was going to survive. He hid in the back of the base for so long, only to get swiped away by that Dreadlord. Finally, there's another Carrion Swarm ripping on through. Are we going to see a Rod of Necromancy? No, we are not. No Rod of Necromancy on that Dreadlord, so all of those units are just going to stay at low hit points and regenerate hit points naturally. All right, what is happening next? There was that a Potion of Mana being used? Looked like it was a Potion of Mana. Dreadlord back up to 165. Blood Mage heading off to the north here, trying to clear out some difficult creep camps, and without any easy heals, we're going to see some Flame Strikes now go down. 1, 2, 3 creeps getting cleaned up quickly as the Boots of Quel'Thalas now dropped here. Going to finish off this Ogre Magi and perhaps pick up some, use that Scroll of Regeneration, Invisibility Potion, and now try and perhaps, well, flame strike out these this bit of mining and harassment. Coming across here. Well, Forest Troll Warlord will get cleaned up easily. RazerMoon has really doubled down onto this mass heavy ghoul strategy with the Dreadlord's Carry-On Swarm. Should be level 3 Carry-On Swarm here in just a second. You can see all of that Vampiric Aura. Those ghouls are able to stay alive. There's level 5 on that Dreadlord, who has a lot of mana and, well, should be going back to pick up that Tome of Intelligence. Not quite sure why he isn't doing that. Extra 15 mana and mana regeneration could have possibly helped overall. Dreadlord now venturing forth. Well, no real reason to do any more creeping. And if he can engage, perhaps take down a footman or two, get himself closer. And are we going to see a Carry-On Swarm rip on through? There's a quick sleep. Carry-On Swarm. No, are we going to see a surround? Yeah, surround onto that. There's a flame strike. Footman getting taken down by its own unit, as we are looking at Footman now just getting cleaned up here. Remember, there is Vampiric Aura, so even though the ghouls are taking a little bit of damage, they're able to recover it quite nicely. Meanwhile, Blood Mage going to get surrounded again. There's a Carry-On Swarm trying to rip through more of those units. Footman down to 132 hit points. There goes another Footman there, trying to find the low hit point units that you want to take out. Actually, the difficult proposition, as we take a boulder right there. All right, units are going to try to engage. Assassin does have poison, and the ghouls are going to perhaps try to go after some of these units here. This is very, very difficult. Low hit point ghouls could easily get picked off by that assassin who switches targets because it is trying to apply poison to multiple units. Meanwhile, Goblin Zeppelin going to be microing, picking up the low hit point ghouls here as the Footmen are now trying to make their way across here. All right, Dreadlord could be in a lot of serious trouble. Footmen now trying to come up the ramp. Are they going to come up the ramp here? That is the question. They are going to come up the ramp. And there is going to be a massive teleportation heading on back out. Footman finishing off the remainder of this creep camp. That is a bunch of low hit point ghouls. Scroll of healing used there to, well, help all of those ghouls get back, as we are looking at a massive number of just a mass ghoul strategy. I don't see Ghoul Frenzy yet. There's Ghoul Frenzy, and we are also now transitioning into gargoyles for that stone form. All right, Blood Mage, well, pretty much hides himself back here, says, you know what, let's go ahead and engage. There is a Spirit Tower back here as well. Perhaps the other unit's going to try and, well, take down this Blood Mage here. Blood Mage actually quite low on mana, and then beautiful timing by RazerMoon, stopping that Flame Strike by putting him to sleep, not allowing that low channel ability to get enough damage across. There was a Carry-On Swarm to try and finish off the Blood Mage, but it was unable to do exactly that. Did force a Scroll of Town Portal, and with all of that said and done, well, that Blood Mage backed itself out of a dangerous situation. We are looking into Griffin Riders and Flying Machines. So perhaps the Gargoyles with Dreadlord, and the Gargoyles are going to also be benefiting from that Vampiric Aura. I believe the Gargoyles have the highest melee damage in the entire game, and getting, well, 15% damage healing is absolutely huge. All right, a couple of Footmen going to get taken down. There goes one, there goes another. No Unholy Aura, but the ghouls are running around quickly, and Jperezimba going to lose his third Footman in this little outing. Are we going to see an engagement here? I believe so. There are already Griffin Riders already out. There's a Flame Strike. There's a Carry-On Swarm ripping through as the Arcane Towers. No, Siphon Mana trying to go after all of these units here. Siphon Mana off of the Dreadlord. Dreadlord quickly uses the Potion of Lesser Invulnerability, trying to dodge on in, and here comes even more damage. However, the Griffins are going after the ghouls here pretty consistently and pretty well, as the Blood Mage now going to go ahead and use a Staff of Teleportation to get out of a dicey spot and teleport back across onto the other side. All right, damage is fighting across multiple places. Ghouls are trying to take down the towers. They're going to be able to do exactly that. Meanwhile, the Blood Mage is off to the north, trying to run around and hide off to the north here. Ghoul going up against a Blood Mage. Blood Mage does have a Ring of Regeneration, so his recovery is actually pretty high. As we're looking at the Knight about to get taken down. Is the Knight going to get taken down? Almost got body blocked by his own Peasant, but now instead he's able to pass through that unit there, and, well, now try and heal back up at the guard tower. More knights or more griffins are showing up onto the battlefield, and they're going to be able to dive on in onto those ghouls. We should be looking at a training of gargoyles now. If there was enough lumber, there are plenty of ghouls out here on the battlefield. Those ghouls should be retreating back, not diving onto the fight here, and trying to collect lumber to train up those gargoyles. Temple of the Damned. We could be actually going for necromancers instead. We did see some obsidian statues, the dual slaughterhouse over here at the expo. Meanwhile, Dreadlord, very, very close to level 6, gonna use that potion of invisibility, also bringing a scroll of healing. These obsidian statues shouldn't be in this fight here, but perhaps he just wants to get enough mana to push himself to level 6 and grab that all-important summon infernals. All right. There's a little nice carry-on swarm right there. A bunch of peasants could get taken down. Gonna hold in that position. There goes one. There goes two. Gets up to level 6, trying to go after more of those peasants. There goes another carry-on swarm, ripping after all those units again. Meanwhile, the expo over here by RazerMoon also taking a little bit of damage. Griffins are being brought over, and the Griffins do have 1-0 upgrades. All the acolytes burned up at the haunted gold mine. And with that, both sides are losing their expos quickly. Knight trying to take down the haunted gold mine. Solo Dreadlord trying to take down this all of these peasants here, but the Dreadlord's not going to be able to do all that much. Are we looking at more griffin or no more? What's it called? No gargoyles. No, we saw Stoneform being researched, but it hasn't. Not a single one has been trained yet. All right, Banshees are out here on the battlefield. Are we getting mastery training? We are not. RazerMoon just playing with a very unorthodox strategy. Meanwhile, Blood Mage is also at level 6 and now has access to, summon those phoenixes. All right, damage could come across here quickly. We are looking at the Banshees getting in a couple of misses. There's a flame strike across all of those ghouls. You can see how quickly those ghouls are just getting absolutely torn up and burned right there. Blood Mage now going to use the Scroll of Town Portal, able to retreat back. Banshees with that anti-magic shell, able to absorb a little bit more of that Griffin damage. But in the end, that's not... the Banshees are not going to really counter the Griffins, only protect from the damage of those Griffins, not really be able to take them out. What is the follow-up play? I don't remember seeing an Infernal yet, so I'm not quite sure if that is legitimately on cooldown or not. Coming back across here, 39 over 40 supply. RazerMoon is currently supply blocked and not mining off of 2 bases. Meanwhile, Jperezimba back up to 2 bases, mining at his expo. And, there's still a little bit of mining left on those main bases here. 5 minutes for RazerMoon's main base. RazerMoon will have to figure out a way to close out this game quickly. Meanwhile, there goes a carry-on swarm, siphon mana. Blood Mage has plenty of mana now, as the Dreadlord is hoping to perhaps call down. A potion of mana does not bring out enough to use to summon the Infernal. Remember, that is the case. It used to give 150 mana. That is no longer the case here, as the Dreadlord is going to be forced to use the Scroll of Town Portal, escaping away at 18 hit points. All right, I think that was the plan by RazerMoon. Use a potion of mana, drop an Infernal, and then leave that Infernal there to disrupt a bit of mining when that Infernal has a little bit of immolation. However, that is not going to be the case. Instead, the Dreadlord used that potion of mana, realized he was low, tried to, and then was forced to use a carry-on swarm, as the Blood Mage would just easily siphon the mana before enough mana was available for that ultimate ability. Now, I don't understand why Jperezimba isn't using the Phoenix. The Phoenix is, a very, very powerful unit out on the battlefield. And at the same time, if the Blood Mage is at max mana, might as well keep it out on the battlefield, as the Phoenix can just constantly, die and then come back, die and come back. All right. Where is this unit coming off to next? All right, there goes that slaughterhouse there. Meanwhile, on the left here, Jperezimba trying to bring in a goblin shredder to take down, trying to repair or take down those ghouls while being massively repaired. That's going to work out well. Meanwhile, a massive fight here. Anti-magic shell protecting from all of those units. Griffins going after the destroyer. The destroyer with anti-magic shell going to have fairly good protection, but the destroyers are now having to deal with the flying machines as the destroyer now retreats back on the Blight. Level 7 on the Blood Mage, now level 7 on the Dreadlord. There goes a Flame Strike. Staff of Sanctuary saving up some lower hit point units as the Banshees are looking to perhaps engage down against some of those flying machines that have been webbed down. So a couple of Crypt Fiends with web able to bring down these flying machines as the Dreadlord now gets up to level 8. Alright, so level 8 Dreadlord means that, well, RazerMoon still winning in the experience race. We are now looking at level 3 Vampiric Aura. So those gargoyles, if we actually saw gargoyles out on the battlefield, they would be able to simply own the skies. I think it's like a 45% Vampiric Aura. And when they're dealing 60 to 70 damage per attack and you have fast attack speeds, those gargoyles should be able to own the skies. Meanwhile, we are looking at the Dreadlord. Are we going to see an Infernal being dropped? There it is, going to come down. There's the stun right there, trying to take down some of those units easily and quickly. Meanwhile, Dreadlord could try and finish off some more of those units. In comes the Griffin Riders trying to take down this Dreadlord here, but remember, the Dreadlord does have anti-magic shell, so he is fairly well protected as we're looking at mass or teleportation inside. There goes a Flame Strike onto those Crypt Fiends. Crypt Fiends going to be forced to retreat back. It looks as though a Griffin Rider going to get popped down as well, as the Dreadlord does have that Orb of Corruption to give him an anti-air attack. Crypt Fiends constantly webbing down these units. The Infernal is able to come across and perhaps, bash down some of these units again and again. More Siphon mana as the Dreadlord runs out of mana once more, but that Infernal is already dealing quite a bit of damage. Crypt Fiends trying to run away, dodge that Knight as more damage is getting racked back up. 1 or 2 more shots here. The Knight down to 16 hit points. Is he going to actually get body blocked? Yes, and end up getting taken down by that Infernal here. Crypt Fiends trying to back away. They are low on hit points. Could end up getting, the missing. So we are seeing a lot of misses by that Blood Mage. I was wondering what was happening. Very low hit point Crypt Fiend taking auto attacks from the Blood Mage and then finally getting taken out here. Infernal has dived into the back of this base here. There's some more Siphon mana to try and get that Blood Mage topped back off once more. I believe there was going to be a Scroll of Healing. Both sides fighting their way through. And the Dreadlord gonna, back away once more. Staff of Sanctuary trying to keep that Knight alive. It looks as though the natural regeneration. Nope, Carrion Swarm gonna rip through, try to finish off that last unit. 1 or 2 more attacks. Knight ends up still getting taken down as the Dreadlord gets to level 9. So Dreadlord is now at level 9, has level 2 sleep. Trying to come back down here, perhaps disrupt a little bit more mining. We are looking at a resummoning of the Haunted Gold Mine here at the 3 o'clock position as the main gold mines are nearly mined out. All right. Phoenix is finally out in play, able to deal quite a bit of damage. Staff of Teleportation in order to get away down to 157 hit points and now finally back at home. More Crypt Fiends joining in on the battlefield. More Banshees getting added in. Banshees perfect with that anti-magic shell to keep that Dreadlord alive a little while longer. Meanwhile, this 3 o'clock Expo has no base defense. The Griffins, the Blood Mage, should be able to just run on over and cause some major problems here as that Phoenix is about to get taken down and then will rehatch from that egg and get back up into the skies. All right, Acolyte finally finished off there. It's taken out. Blood Mage sitting at level 7. There are a couple of Banshees across over here. There goes another unit getting cleaned up again. The Banshees could end up getting cleaned up by the Phoenix and the Knight. Is that going to give the Blood Mage level 8? Yes, it will. Anti-Magic Shell. There's a little bit of Carrion Swarm damage. The Knight able to get in that final shot here. There's level 8 now coming back online. Meanwhile, the Knight suffering quite a bit of damage. Staff of Sanctuary going to try and save. However, Web is going to force this Griffin to stay in place and then end up getting destroyed. Dreadlord sitting at level 9, getting very close now, or nearly halfway to level 10, and now going to venture forth once more. Remember, Jperezimba still mining 20 supply compared to 28. RazerMoon having a slightly larger army at this point in the stage in the game. But still no mining for RazerMoon. So RazerMoon's army is pretty stagnant at this point, as the main gold mine has been destroyed and collapsed. All right. Difficult pacing of this game here. It doesn't feel like any of these two players have had a really long, big, drawn-out battle, but we're just looking at this constant light action here with really no branch into even low upkeep. There's a quick sleep there. Dreadlord trying to engage against this knight here and using its vampiric aura in order to stay alive. He's back up to 139 hit points. We could look at another anti-magic shell as the Infernal is coming in to engage again. Knight trying to come back around the other side. Obsidian statue could get in a little bit of healing going on once more. Meanwhile, the Infernal is pretty much playing ring around the rosy here, as the Blood Mage falls asleep at the job when there isn't enough units nearby. Well, that Blood Mage ends up just constantly staying in that spot there. All right, Dreadlord down to 105 hit points. I believe the Knight also has Curse as well. Is it going to miss its attack there? Dreadlord down to 112, 113 hit points, as the Infernal is still trying to keep pace. All right, Knight down to 157 hit points, losing a little bit of armor, and there's a Staff of Sanctuary for the save. All right, two Knights. Perez able to constantly just rotate those Knights here. Meanwhile, very low hit point Knight. We're looking at a Flame Strike, and now, well, a surround here. The Blood Mage could be in some serious problems. He's going to be able to break free. There is a Phoenix now hatching up here, as the Blood Mage able to siphon mana out of that Dreadlord. Dreadlord down to 500 hit points. There's a big Flame Strike right there. It looks as though the Phoenix could end up getting taken down. Phoenix Egg, are we going to get bashed in? I believe so. Finally taken out here, as the dual Knights full hit points now going after the Crypt Fiend. Crypt Fiend, well, no, not going after the Crypt Fiend any longer. Going after the Dreadlord. Dreadlord has to worry about this a little bit more. We're going to see another Flame Strike. Yes, we are. All the Acolytes purposely backing off. Perhaps they need to even get in a repair here, as the Knights are just taking down these Acolytes so easily with those Sundering Blades. Burrow on that Crypt Fiend now pops back up, only to get cleaned up by that Knight who came back. Another silence onto the Blood Mage. Blood Mage could be in trouble. He could end up getting surrounded, but there is a Knight to try and break free here, as the Infernal is, well, no, there's a banish onto the Blood Mage. So the Blood Mage going to go ahead and use a Staff of Sanctuary. There's going to be another sleep. The Blood Mage constantly falling asleep on the job here. Going to get surrounded and, well, could have a very bad day. Blood Mage once more banishes himself into the ethereal realm to try and break free. Level 10 now on that Dreadlord. Maximum level hero. Are we perhaps going to see another hero get trained up? That would be interesting to see at this point in stage in the game, if there was actually mining happening. All right, Blood Mage getting surrounded again. Banshee, while trying to stay alive. It looks as though the Blood Mage down to 160 some odd hit points. The Knights are going to be able to break free and now try to get that Blood Mage out. The Blood Mage Ring of Regeneration giving it enough hit points to try and make a run for it once more. All right, it looks as though the Blood Mage does finally get taken out. Acolytes are hiding in the back here. They haven't been mining, and that was a missed opportunity to get a bit more gold, as Acolytes could end up getting taken down. All right, these Acolytes going to go back to work here, try and do a little bit more mining. This Acolyte trying to get back onto Blight. There goes that one Acolyte there. Perhaps we're going to see some sleep. Obsidian statues are nearby, as the Knights did lose a little bit of armor and are now missing their targets pretty consistently. Blood Mage making its run back over. Are we going to see a Staff of Sanctuary? Most likely. There's a Siphon Mana. We should be looking at a Staff of Sanctuary once that Knight is in danger. And once that Knight is in danger, it escapes away. Destroyer now in the skies trying to go after this Knight here. That Knight now being forced to retreat back. Dreadlord trying to finish off some additional targets here, as the Ghoul is just doing a little bit of a dance back and forth. All right, Acolytes trying to fully saturate this haunted gold mine. Meanwhile, another Knight has positioned itself to disrupt all of this mining again. Dreadlord needs to somehow shut down these Knights and or shut down this Blood Mage. There goes another Flame Strike here. All of the Acolytes are going to be forced to try and retreat back, as the Knights may be able to take down this haunted gold mine. No repairs currently, as the Acolytes are now making their way back over, perhaps trying to get in some repairs on this haunted gold mine, staying steady at 140 hit points. Acolytes trying to figure out if they want to mine or repair. Meanwhile, the Dreadlord here going after all of these units. Well, Dreadlord trying to go after all these units. Flying machines now once more retrained to go after the Destroyer. Destroyer easily gets cleaned up. Blood Mage still sitting at level 8 here. He's going to try to banish himself in order to step away from this fight. Flying machines are overhead. It looks as though the Knights are still going after all of these Acolytes. Blood Mage down to 279 hit points, but still holding steady. Could perhaps try and siphon a little bit of mana. Yeah, trying to siphon that mana, get as much as he could, perhaps throw down a Flame Strike here and finish off this gold mine that is now down to 280 hit points and suffering more with that Flame Strike damage. Knights, all they need to do is like attack, I think, 2 or 3 more times, and this haunted gold mine will finally get taken down. And then now no more mining is possible. Back at home here, only 2 minutes of mining left for Jperezimba. So Imba needs to use every bit of gold he has left in order to close out this game. There is only, I believe, a Dreadlord and a Ghoul out on the side of RazerMoon, a bunch of flying machines by Jperezimba, but we do not have the bomb upgrade, so those flying machines are only there to try. No, I take it back, do have the bomb upgrade now. So with that bomb upgrade, they're able to attack ground. Back down to the south side here, a Ghoul trying to test the waters quickly finds, well, there's some guard towers here, and I believe this may be it. RazerMoon may accidentally lose this Ghoul down to 24 hit points, able to escape, as the Dreadlord is looking for an opportunity to put on some pressure. What is going down? 1 minute left on mining. Staff of Sanctuary is the name of the game here. Jperezimba able to constantly use that Staff of Sanctuary for any knight that was about to get taken out, send him back home quickly, and then have him refreshed and ready to go. Corner gold mines have never really been cleared out. There's a couple of fly machines scouting out those locations. Blood Mage now ready to lead the charge. Level 1 banish, level 3 flame strike, level 3 siphon mana, as the units are ready to head off. Not quite sure. Well, yeah, the Blood Mage could have easily just siphoned mana there. There's an Infernal summoned down here, and this could potentially be a problem, as the Dreadlord now finally out of mana, unable to disrupt this mining at this point and stage in the game. But the gold mine is now destroyed. So what is the Dreadlord really looking to do here? It looks like he's just here to try and harass peasants, perhaps take more of them down. Meanwhile, during this time, the Blood Mage says, you know what, I'm just going to go after creep camps instead. He's going to siphon mana, get that Blood Mage, get that all of that mana out of that rogue, can summon up another Phoenix by now, and well, with that Phoenix out here on the battlefield, perhaps cause a bit of problems. Also has a healing ward, so that healing ward is going to be able to keep that keep these units alive. So could be going in for a last minute push. Banshees do have mastery training. Do they have enough mana to actually get in a couple of possessions? That is the question here, as we're looking at more knights trying to clean things up. There goes a big flame strike across all of these buildings. It may be a building kill, as the Blood Mage with this army of knights has plenty of opportunities to deal damage to these buildings. Dreadlord trying to retreat all the way back. Infernal not going to be able to make it over. A couple of Banshees and one Acolyte. Not easy to hide a building. Are we trying to sell some things? And perhaps to get up a necropolis here. Yes, and so he's trying to hide his necropolis off over here, and that is it. He's pretty much sold everything, including that Orb of Corruption. Had a little bit of gold left over for a Potion of Lesser Invulnerability. All right, last building in RazerMoon's base that is left. That will get cleaned up and taken down. Phoenix Egg Gonna hatch back up here in just a moment. There's a carry-on swarm taking down a couple of those flying machines. The Banshees, are they gonna possess? That is the question here. Do they have enough mana for a possession? There's one possession, I believe. Yes. No, yes, one possession there. I believe that Banshee is going to end up getting taken down. Level 9 on the Blood Mage. I'm not quite sure. There's some more Siphon mana, making sure that those Banshees can no longer possess any additional targets. There's a banish onto this Knight here. Remember, the Knights do not get any of the weapon upgrades, so that Knight is 0-0 now, as we're looking at some more banishing on low hit point Knights to try and save them. All right, Banshee coming across here, getting in a little bit of damage. There is another banish again. So banishing low hit point Knights whenever they are in danger or in trouble. We're looking at this one Knight down to 10 hit points. It looks like it will be able to get away. Meanwhile, does that Knight, yeah, that Knight was actually taking a little bit of damage. It looks like that Knight's going to get finished off here as the Infernal trying to get away again. Blood Mage sitting at level 9 here, going to try and retreat back. There goes the Infernal. It will end up falling apart as the Dreadlord now looks to, well, retreat back. All right, Knights have found the Necropolis off over here. Siege engines rolling on out. This looks like it will be the end of the game. The siege engine's very difficult to try and finish off, especially with when all you really have left on the battlefield now is a Dreadlord. There goes a carry-on swarm. Siphon mana, removing the last bit of mana from that Dreadlord. Staff of Sanctuary saving units again and again. That has been the name of the game, and this Necropolis falling will cause it to be defeated. It looks like it was actually denied. But yep, still enough there, and that will be the game. RazerMoon left the game. Jperezimba was victorious. All right, long, drawn-out game with like a constant flow of steady action and harassment. It felt like the Dreadlord getting that early Acolyte steal, being able to get a little bit of an advantage, and was able to just hold the hero level advantage throughout. Great job by Jperezimba, however, to overcome that hero level advantage by using Banish effectively and that Staff of Sanctuary. Constantly using that Staff of Sanctuary, constantly using that Banish, was able to keep those units alive and then eventually just win out on the War of Attrition by not losing units and having more